Hello, my name is Dimitra Xidous, and I am part of the team supporting a number of cities in the design and implementation of nature-based solutions through the Connecting Nature project. Today's webinar will focus on upscaling of NBS. During this presentation, I will share with you the work myself, based in Trinity College Dublin, and colleagues Pauline Georgiou and Paula Vandergert from the University of East London have been undertaking in order to explore innovative means for supporting and upscaling nature-based solutions in cities. In this presentation, I will present an overview of a methodology that incorporates memory work, immersion in nature, ecotherapy, embodied reflection, and body mapping to capture our stories and relationship with nature and its potential to improve the quality and sustainability of nature-based solutions in urban settings. The methodology I will present is a work in progress. However, as part of this overview, I will be sharing some of our initial reflections as well as some next steps we will be undertaking as we continue to refine and improve the process for cities. Following my presentation, our colleagues in Sarajevo will share their experiences of us working together to test each element of the methodology and provide some impressions on its applicability to their local context in design and implementation of NBS. Throughout the Urban by Nature series, you have learned about the development of the Connecting Nature framework and process. As part of the Connecting Nature project, there have been a series of knowledge transfer workshops to support knowledge exchange between cities, from frontrunner city to fast follower city. The aim of these workshops has been to provide the fast follower cities with knowledge related to the elements and components of the Connecting Nature framework and opportunities to test the practical application of the framework within a workshop setting. Through the delivery of both theoretical and practical exercises, these workshops have enhanced cities' learnings and supported application of the framework relative to their own context with respect to NBS. The learning and exchange as a result of these workshops is intended to be multidirectional, and this includes me. In my role supporting knowledge exchange, I am learning about cities' challenges in relation to NBS. One of these is in communicating with citizens about nature-based solutions. It is on the basis of this challenge that we embarked on exploring how we can better support cities to capture and tell the story of nature in nature-based solutions. In so doing, we can go a long way to scaling up and supporting truly functional, high-quality, and innovative NBS. As human beings, we are drawn to stories. They help us to communicate and share experiences. They connect us to our families, our communities, and to the places in which we live. With and in them, stories provide us the means to create meaning. By drawing on the tools of language, symbol, pace, rhythm, we create a foundation for telling the world what is important to us, what matters. Stories give shape to living. They draw on our memories, capture our present, and give means to imagine our future. The past, the present, and the future provide us with a frame or lens through which we can better explore our relationship with nature. In this way, they have become the anchors of our methodology, asking the following questions. What has brought you here? Where is here? What does here mean? Where are you going? How do you get there? To answer these questions, our methodological process is composed of the following elements: memory work, immersion in nature and embodied reflection, ecotherapy practices, body mapping. In the next few slides, I will share more information about each method and how it has framed our answers to the questions related to the past, present, and future, and how we have used the outcomes of these exercises to build our story. Memory work was developed to bridge the gap between theory and experience. It is a group method involving the collective analysis of individual memories. We are interested in this method because there is a richness to memory. According to Swinson, it is something that lives within our bodies. Our memories are our bodies, and our bodies are our memories. Memory is all that we are. This is echoed by Johanni Polisma, who notes that human memory is embodied, skeletal, and muscular in its essence, not merely cerebral. Conceptualizing memory in this way is a key component of our methodology, providing a very exciting opening for exploring our past and the meanings we associate with our experiences. We feel important, as though what we have to say and share already matters, because we have lived it and lived through it. In order to set up the exercise, a description of the memory work was provided via email to participants in advance of the activity. As part of the description, an example of a memory work activity was shared with all participants. I will return to this in a follow-up slide. With respect to running the exercise, participants were asked to bring a photo of nature that represented something to them. We took half an hour to write a short text about our photographs. On completion of this exercise, we took turns reading out our text and drawing out key themes representing what is important to us about nature in our lives. The next slide shows a list of key themes from the exercise we did together. I would like to take a moment to share with you my photo, as it presents a key learning and reflection. My intention in sharing this photo, and my own practice of memory work, was to demonstrate my commitment to the process, by being open and trusting with a memory that is dear to me. By providing this example of my niece in my parents' garden, I hope to create a space where all participants would be comfortable sharing their memories and stories from their lives. The intention was to establish in big and small ways a space for intimacy, and for the conditions that would allow for a shared intimacy to arise from the experience. To better explore our relationship with nature and what it means to us in the present, we applied the following 3 methods: immersion in nature and embodied reflection, ecotherapy practices, and body mapping. Using a combination of these 3 approaches allowed us to capture and validate our experiences of being in the present moment. Furthermore, reflections and themes reinforce the outcomes from the memory work exercise. The next slide provides a short explanation of the first 2 approaches. In relation to better capturing our meanings and understanding of nature in the present, immersion in nature and embodied reflection provide a way of understanding the body as a filter between nature and ourselves. The body's senses have the power to establish relationships with our surroundings as well as trigger memory. The conscious reflection of these experiences can reveal well-known spaces in new light, while creating bonds with people who share the experience with us. Framing the exercise around nature provides a soft opening for participants to share experiences. Nature has been proven to be good for our mental health and well-being, and ecotherapy practices can be used as positive psychological interventions. To set up the exercise, our colleagues in Sarajevo took us on a walk through the city, stopping at various points and sites to share stories and key events of significance. This aspect of the exercise was not planned. However, it contributed to further entrenching our sense of having a shared experience together. We were truly working together and making together, and as such, building our story together. Once we arrived at the mountain and selected the spot where we would immerse ourselves in nature, Paula guided us in a short meditation to ground us into the present moment. From there, we all took our time walking around, looking, touching, smelling, listening to everything around us. The collection of these sensual moments would become the foundation for the body mapping exercise we would complete later that afternoon. Body mapping is a process for capturing individuals' lived experiences and stories. It originated in South Africa to counteract the stigma and fear by recognizing personal stories of living with HIV. According to Brett McLean, body mapping offers both a metaphor and means of recognizing the fluid tracings of the personal, social, geographical, political, and emotional experience. Instructions for completing the body map centered on allowing participants to use crayons, markers, and items collected from our time together in the mountain. The completion of the maps took roughly 30 to 45 minutes, after which, similarly to the memory work exercise, we took turns explaining what our maps represented. Key themes were drawn from the discussions and are presented on the next slide. The NBS exemplar in Sarajevo is the development of an urban community garden. It is at the conceptual stage, but the idea is to link it with one of the centers for healthy aging in Sarajevo. The city has good links with the center, and one of the participants noted that this exercise would be really good to do with older people in the center to capture their knowledge and to find ways of sharing it across generations. It would be wonderful to build the story of the urban gardens with this group and watch it evolve, bringing in children and cross-generational exchange. As we continue to work with Sarajevo, we will link outcomes from this methodology back to the various components of the Connecting Nature framework to inform the application of the framework to the Community Gardens exemplar. Some final reflections. There was general enthusiasm among participants regarding the process and implementing it with citizens. It was clear from discussions that as participants were going through the exercise themselves, they were thinking about how they could use it with a broader stakeholder group to communicate the benefits of NBS in the city and engage with citizens to co-create the elements of their exemplar together. This learning by doing was valuable for all involved. It brought us closer together, created meaning between us, and established a keen desire to continue to work together to build stories of nature in Sarajevo and to use the outcomes of this process to support NBS exemplar development and implementation. Thank you for your attention. It has been a pleasure to share with you our experience of working with Sarajevo to develop a methodology that helps cities capture and build their stories of nature and to use these stories to help in the design and implementation of NBS. I will now turn things over to our colleagues in Sarajevo to share their experiences and stories of our time together.